It's your boy Young and Hefe. Don't care about number what the check say.
KBL, you a menace.
Yeah. It's a lot of little boys out here talking that talk, but ain't spinning and walking that walk. 5 bills to get you whacked, 50 shots up in the smac, face shots to make the news. We just step when they relax. Group chats to get you tapped. Foreign head up in my lap. When they pump, we run it back. Tell my youngin' cut no slack. 5 bills to get you whacked. What's the good old big deal with the good old people, man? It's your boy Young and Hefe. Don't care about nothing but what the checks say. Make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe, because it don't cost you nothing. Press that button, and if you ring that notification bell, I'm gonna bring you mail. What's the good old big deal with the good old people, man? It's Hot Topics with your boy Young and Hefe, and I'm here to deliver you another one like the other. The recipient of Hot Topics is ODM Slim. His affiliation as a neighborhood, back on Fig, Smacc and T, they affiliations as Hoover and 5-1 Troubles. So, swag surfing through this metaverse of YouTube, and I run across this segment by Paperboy News. When I see the title draws me in, and that makes me tap into the content. I tap into the content, and the gist of the content is surrounding ODM Slim being back on Fig. Now, the last time I seen ODM Slim back on Fig was months ago. You know what I'm saying? He had about like 3-4 runs to where he was going up there, like, you know, co-hosting, kind of doing the same thing that I do at No Jumper, or on No Jumper, you know what I'm saying? Going up there, you know what I'm saying, one day out the week, you know what I'm saying, doing the news, giving my opinion and stuff like that. So, you know, with this stigma, because it's gonna be stigma, and I didn't think about it at that time. I didn't think about the backlash at that time for whatever reason. And the reason being is probably because ODM Slim going up there. Now, I don't know if he was tapped in with any of his elders, like, hey, look, you know, I'm about to go on this back on Fig thing, or, you know, should I go on this back on Fig thing? How y'all feel about this? Or, you know, he just took the legion and took the lead of his own, like, man, look, I'm a grown man, you know, as well as somebody who served for my community, so I'm about to just go back on Fig and do my thing. It shouldn't be a problem. These dudes not dudes in the gangbang space shooting at each other. They podcasting, they getting money. These people got families on motorcycle scenes. Just, you know what I'm saying, doing venturous things. Even with that, you always gonna have some type of fortitude of backlash from people who not liking it. Like, oh man, those the ops. Oh, those the wooty whoops. Why you sitting down with them? Like, you know what I'm starting to see in this gangbang space and with this podcast stuff with these dudes? A lot of dudes acting too tough. A lot of dudes just acting like that. They are the prime example of what gangbang is supposed to be. All the things that's going on is picking and choosing. Dudes is picking and choosing who they want to sit down with, who they want to deal with. Oh no, these direct enemies, I can't sit down with them. But you know what's so funny about the gangbang culture is that dudes are having an alliance with certain hoods and be cool with certain hoods because they share a common enemy or the same enemy. But these two hoods that's allies, one of these allies will have a hood that they don't beef with, that the other hood beef with, and some of these dudes might deal with each other, but they still call these dudes allies, still be willing to shout these dudes out, sit down with these dudes, all type of stuff. And then you got the occasionally CK, BK thing. You know, I used to think it was real funny when dudes used to try to say, oh, hey, Trey's, oh, you guys ain't Crips, man. Oh, you guys turned your backs on the Crips. Oh, you guys mess with the Inglewood family. It's ETG times IFG. Suwoo grooving and moving, all this fiasco. And then you be having guys that's like of the neighborhood function that have pushed Woo Woo Rolling or see the Different Lane Bloods as a common ally because they beef with the Hoovers. Like this stuff be double standard out here. Like a dude to be like, all right, I'm gonna sit down with him because we don't directly beef with him, or I don't know about them unaliving any of my homies, so it's cool. And it don't make no sense because these hoods be pushing CK and these hoods be pushing BK. At the end of the day, however you want to try to cut it, however you want to try to slice it, however try to tough you want to try to be, it really don't make no sense. But you know, I don't say nothing. I just sit back and I let people do what they do. I let people talk. Good ones, because all I know at the end of the day, as long as I can stand on my morality, stand on standard, stand on ethic, you feel me? That's all that matters. As long as I can sleep and ain't no demons hunting me about anything that I'm doing, because everybody know who's chasing clout and who's not chasing clout. You can tell from the characters, the dude who's on clout, the dude who's trying to do numbers. You can tell the dudes who's laid back, the dudes who's just genuinely giving their opinion. It's just, you know, on their grown manship, but still representing what they represent, you know. Ain't ever denounced nothing. It is what it is. What you got to understand, no civilian not going to understand, is levels to this shit. And, you know, once you at a certain level and you participated at a high level, you got to keep ascending. You know what I'm saying? Growth comes with that. But however, I don't even want to hold you guys any longer. I'm going to get to this clip about the neighborhoods allegedly tripping on ODM Slim for going back on Fig with T-Rail and Smacc. And y'all already know it's the halfway and the half effect. We gonna commentate.
Paperboy News, here to deliver y'all that daily report. Now, as we all know, ODM Slim's from R50s neighborhood crib, 5'7" to be exact. And their immediate enemies are the 5'1" troubles and the 5 dudes who were against the cribs. Now, first of all, salutes up to ODM Slim, Smacc and T for having a sit down and having a good conversation. And showing they little homies that you don't gotta beef with your enemies forever. Y'all can actually break bread and have a conversation. Now, ODM Slim said as soon as he did that Back on Fig episode, a lot of people from his section, which is the Rolling 50s, had a lot to say. Now, ODM Slim said what made him mad about the whole situation, and instead of politicking in the hood, they created a group chat to talk ish about him. Now, ODM Slim said the crazy part about this whole situation is the same people that's talking about him is not even outside.
You say, hey cuz, Lil Bob, you a nigga, you on Back on Fig, right? So tell your homies, which is the 5'7s, right, on the dead homies, since they was trying to separate me, to come and get a squabble. Or you can come get a squabble. So what I did, I got on the freeway from the Valley Club, Andre Lockhart. Get on the freeway from the Valley. Go to the ops where the live at.
Now, ODM Slim said when he pulled up to his homie's house and he banged on the door and told them where you at so we could squabble, his homie hung up the phone and blocked his number. Now, ODM Slim said he was shocked his homie from 5'5" crib was scared to squabble him, and he was so terrified, ODM Slim said his door was open, but he made his girl close it and lock it. Then to make matters worse, he shut off all the lights and tried to pretend like nobody was there. Now, T-Rail said he forever gonna be a Hoover, but he said as far as his platform Back on Fig, even though he won't have no sit down with any actor rolling 40s or 60 cribs, if they drop any dope music, he's gonna promote it on his Instagram page. Now, T-Rail said it's a damn shame that ODM Slim got politicked on just because he came on Back on Fig. Now, Smacc said he can relate to ODM Slim because he just went through the same ish. And he said his homies from 5'1" Troubles caught them over there, but he said fortunately for him, the OG homies from his set had his back.
I just went through this shit, bro. Had a whole meeting and everything, and I pulled up like, hold up, what's going on? Shout out Big Icebone, bro. Shout out Big Bird, bro. They like, ain't none of that. Like, that's that nigga job, bro. He said, ain't nobody on there, this is what Big Bird said. I quoted, ain't nobody on there disrespecting this. They podcasting.
Now, T-Rail said if ODM Slim's gonna get DP for coming on our podcast, every black that joined the motorcycle club should get DP too. Now, T-Rail said as far as the motorcycle clubs go, there's all type of gangs in there, and a lot of them are ops. Now, T-Rail said it's crazy how ODM Slim got DP for podcasting on Back on Fig. But he said at the end of the day he can't speak on that because that's their politics. No, Smacc said he don't know why ODM Slim got tricked on like that. Because he said it's crazy how gangs get mad at their homies for podcasting with their ops. But most gang members that have a job is most likely working with their ops. Now, Smacc said if you able to work with your op in the white man's business, then he don't see why an op can't come to a black platform and sit down with him and chop it up and trying to find a solution. Now, Smacc said, wait a minute, for those people that politicked on ODM Slim, they should get DP too. Because for them to know that ODM Slim went on back on Fig, that means they actually watched that episode. Now, T-Rail said, just like ODM Slim, we forever gonna be from where we from, but the difference is we no longer active in the streets. And as long as you ain't got no eye busters or you unalived any one of his homies, and you pushing positivity, he got no problem with inviting you to his platform. Now, T-Rail ended it off by telling his black people that's gang affiliated, we gotta do better. And if one of your homies is pushing positivity in a positive way, there's no reason that anybody from his section shouldn't support it. Now, salutes up to ODM Slim and the Back on Fig podcast for pushing this West Coast movement. And now that you guys have the content, y'all.
Okay, so I never heard nothing about this situation. You know, ODM Slim, you know, that's one of the brodies, you know what I'm saying? T-Rail, you know what I'm saying? That's my folks, you know what I'm saying? He good people, you know what I'm saying? Smacc, you know, me and Smacc go way back. You know, that's a brody. We go way back to Juvenile Hall. And this is what I want to say about this, man. This fake picking and choosing, gang banging stuff, and these alliances, and oh yeah, we clash with them, but we don't clash with them. But they Crips and we Bloods, but because they on the other side of town, we cool. What sense does that make? Everybody, oh, you know, because they ain't unalive one of my homies, and everybody going on these podcasts, and I'm not pointing the finger at nobody, but people sitting down, what they alleged opposing ops, and oh yeah, you know, I'm sitting down with him because he ain't got no eye busters and he ain't unalive one of my homies. Don't nobody know who unalive too, and you would be stupid to even be on TV or on a podcast talking about who you unalive. That's what I don't be getting. Like, people come with all these excuses. Oh, you know, yeah, I'm sitting down with him because, man, look, I'm sitting down with him because I'm grown. We have a common interest. We both from the communities we from. Our communities are at odds, but we trying to show something different. It's just as simple as that. Don't nobody got time for these fake responses. Don't nobody care what people in their feelings are thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you young and that's what you own and that's what you promoting, then you the one that's supposed to be on that. But you cannot be allies with one hood, and that hood that you allies with, they don't beef with a common enemy that y'all got. But you sit down with your ally, but you talking about you can't sit down with the other dude because that's the enemy. Well, the same dude that you be sitting down with, or same dudes that y'all be sitting down with, mess with dudes who are y'all opposing ops. So it's like, what sense does that make it? What sense does that make if you pushing CK and BK and you sitting down with any Crip and Blood and you just saying because, oh, we not in the same city or on the same side of town, it's all good, you know, we on some money stuff, we got to understand it. All right, it'd be a situation, you be in jail, but because we in jail, you got to know when to pick, to stick, and when to be together. A riot go off, and I'll be like, and I just stand back, and all the blacks start pointing at me like, yeah, old boy, hey, Trey, he stood back, he didn't get up in this, and I'll be like, oh yeah, but I beef with all y'all ops, you know, I didn't feel the need to help y'all. Oh, we black, we black. So it's just like, it's double standard. People be minute in their mind, and they don't be making sense, and they always look for an excuse when they put on the spot, because the masses see it. Everybody see what's going on. So I don't know if this actually happened with ODM Slim, but it looked like it did because he said he showed up at one of his homies' house for the fade, said his homies turned the lights out, said the door was open, he could have walked in, but he kept it respectful, let the female lock the door and whatnot. And yeah, I'm just tired of like all the faking. It's like with these gangbangers on these podcasts and everybody acting like they the standard and acting like they top tier and acting like they not goofy and acting like that they push or they gangsterism is how it's supposed to be. And I can point out instances with everybody in these gang members that have been on this internet and contradicted themselves with one of their enemies or allies of their enemies, because if we gonna keep it clean, we gonna keep it clean up in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So Smacc and T, I don't know if they caught any backlash. You probably had some people who did tap in with them on the Hoovers and Trouble side who didn't like ODM Slim being over there as well. But like they said, they are not people in the streets shooting at each other. You feel me? They podcasting, they getting money. But what I can't agree with, I wouldn't want to sit down with anybody that's supposed to be an opposing enemy of mine just to do some views. We not doing nothing for views out here. All this stuff have to be genuine. And that's just how it go. We have to have some type of common interest. It's not going to be nobody just hopping on the phone like, hey, I think it's a good look if you sit down with Wooty Woo. You know what I'm saying, man? It's going to go viral. I'm not going for none of that. I've never had a phone call like that. Never been in no situation like that. And if somebody asks me something like that, I'm going to absolutely turn it down. But just, you know what I'm saying, being on some black time or being, you know what I'm saying, up under this seat on some ism, you know what I'm saying, like if it makes sense, it makes sense. But, you know, me as well. I don't want to sit down with nobody that's disrespectful, nobody that's poison, nobody that's acting like they opposing and are pushing against the agenda of me or my community. And that just is what it is. So, you know, I seen this and I had to cover this. I don't know what came of this, but, you know, it looked like everything good. But it don't matter what you doing out here, people. You could be doing the rightest shit. You could be stepping, walking like Jesus, man, feeding 1,000 people. Somebody is going to find something bad to say. Oh, he trying to act like he all that. Or he just feeding them people for publicity. Or he did this in the past. It's just like, that's just how it go. That's how the society rule. But we going to conclude that there. It's your boy, Young and Hefe. Don't care about number what the check say. Make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe, because it don't cost you nothing. And press that button. And if you ring that notification bell, I'm going to bring you mail.
On Wayne's, is he good peoples? He bad peoples. Dead homies, he bad peoples. It's not even a question.